We know that our priests pray for us, but sometimes it's easy to forget how important it is for us to pray for our priests. So pull out your rosary, because in just a couple of weeks you can join the world in the 7th annual Global Rosary Relay in an effort to encircle the whole world in prayer for priests. The entire concept of the relay is that at predetermined time slots throughout the day, a particular mystery of the Rosary will be prayed at each of the more than 100 participating shrines in more than 50 countries. The event begins at midnight on June 2nd in Siberia, and the Rosary then passes to the underground church in China, to New Zealand, to Australia, Europe, and the United States, and to all corners of the earth. The intention of the relay is to give thanksgiving to God for the priests who serve the Catholic Church, and to implore the protection and loving care of Our Lady for all her priestly sons. When the clock strikes midnight on the 3rd of June, the entire world will have been encircled in prayer for our priests via this 24-hour relay period of continuous prayer for the ministry of the priesthood. We spoke to Marion Mulhall, CEO of World Priest and founder of the Rosary Relay, who called the event a spiritual revolution and an invitation to the whole world. Marion, welcome to Voice of the Vatican. We're so glad you could be with us today.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity, Ashley. I really appreciate it very much.
Well, Marion, I know that you are involved in a very exciting initiative, especially for priests. Would you tell us about what's happening?
Well, the big exciting news in World Priest is the gifted inspiration that I received 7 years ago, and I understood it was from Our Lady of the 20 countries, 20 mysteries, and that has led to one of the largest days of prayer in the whole world, and it has become known as the annual Global Rosary Relay for the sanctification of priests.
Now, what is a Rosary Relay? What does that mean?
Basically, every 30 minutes on the GMT time slot, a country with a shrine dedicated to Our Lady prays an allocated mystery of the Rosary, so that the whole 24-hour clock from dawn to dusk is filled right through.
And where does it begin? Where does it end?
It starts in Siberia.
Wow!
And it's really interesting how the Rosary is prayed in Siberia, because last year Father Michael Shields, who's a very wonderful priest, he's from Alaska, but he's now ministering in Siberia, but he actually prayed the Rosary on a rosary bead which had been made by one of the little old ladies who was in the prison. And she made rosary beads with bread and with the ash from the little fires to keep them a little bit of warmth. She made rosary beads and kept handing them around the prison. The rosary in Siberia was prayed on one of those rosary beads. So as I said, it starts in Siberia and then it's passed on to China, to the underground church in China, and then it goes to New Zealand, Australia, all over Europe, all over the United States, back to Europe and back again to the United States. Literally there is no corner of the earth that is left out in terms of people praying for their priests at their local shrines dedicated to Our Lady, preferably.
How many people do you estimate participate?
Billions, absolutely billions. I mean, if you think of every single country in the entire world all having a very significant participation by the laity. It's the one day when priests can kind of sit back and take an easy day, if there's such a thing as priests. I don't think so, but it's just that the prayers are for them on that particular day.
And why priests? How did you come to choose that this ought to be especially for this intention?
Well, my background is in the advertising business, and back 21 years ago I attended a retreat, and at that retreat I received my vocation. So what I am now doing is, it's a personal response to a personal vocation to promote the priesthood at any price, which kind of made sense to an advertising person. So what I've really done is I've followed that call right through since 21 years back. Last year we celebrated the 10th anniversary of World Priest. So for 10 full years, every single day, all day, with extremely limited resources, we have managed to be faithful to the vocation with the support of my team and our collaborators around the world and our benefactors. They've all allowed this to actually happen.
What kind of response have you received about the fruit of these prayers?
Well, it's the excitement in the hearts of people. Like, World Priest is reaching out to the priests of the world with many, many resources and online retreats and ongoing clergy formation programs and everything that can possibly support priests. Whereas the great gift of this global rosary relay means that the entire world of lay people, and priests for that matter, I mean, priests can pray for priests, of course, so literally the whole world can get involved. And this has actually it has caused World Priest to become so huge. But this year there's well over, as I said, 100 locations in 50 countries who are participating. So much so we have to even come down to 15 minutes now. And at certain locations we could have maybe 3 or 4 or 5 different countries praying, like at a different time, but on the same GMT time, but in totally different locations. So it's fascinating how the whole time zones work out, isn't it?
Yes, it is,
Yeah.
Indeed. How does someone find out where they can participate?
If people visit worldpriest.com, they will find very, very quickly on the homepage Rosary Relay. And they go there and there's a whole explanation. There's much promotional material because we supply every shrine with all the posters, promotion material because of our advertising background. And they're very beautiful this year. And they're all in downloadable formats as well. And they're in numerous languages. But the most exciting news of all is that this year the Global Rosary Relay is officially closing the Jubilee for Priests, which begins on the 1st, the 2nd and ends on the 3rd of June. And the Jubilee for Priests is a special retreat given by Pope Francis to the priests of the world. But he also encourages priests around the world and their bishops to have similar gatherings as a retreat for priests. But we've got the incredible gift of closing the retreat with the Global Rosary Relay here in St. Peter's Square on the 3rd of June at 1800 hours. What a gift! I mean, you can't possibly plan for something like that. It's just pure providence. It's just such a gift from Our Lady for her priests. Because the Rosary Relay, it was her idea, it's her rosary, and it is for her priests. And priests are just so touched. It touches you so deeply when you realise what's actually happening. That we're going to be here with everybody in St. Peter's Square for something that we started like 7 years ago, not having any idea where it was going to go, what Our Lady was going to do with it. So it's a great example in my own faith, just to sit back and to really, really trust, and that everything will be okay. Like everything, we are being cared for, by Jesus and his mother Mary, and we really don't have to worry about anything. But I mean, human nature, or I should say, by our nature, people, do tend to worry about things, particularly when you're in an apostolate. But you soon realise it's okay. It's all right. You don't have to worry about anything. Our Lady has it all under control, and everything will be just perfect, exactly just in her time, not a second later or a second earlier. So it's wonderful. It's wonderful for one's own faith and one's own love of Our Lady to realise that one is, participating in some little way in bringing her joy and bringing a beautiful smile to her very beautiful face by praying for her priests.
So Marion, how do people pray on this special day?
Okay, what people do on this very special day is they go to the website, and their diocese or their parish will already have got promotional material, so they will know what time they're praying at. So let's take, for example, here in the Vatican, okay? It is spiritually passed on from one country to the next. So it so happens that there's a beautiful new shrine in London. It's a shrine designated, it's been dedicated in October by Cardinal Vincent Nichols. And I contacted them and said, listen, we would love you to participate in the Rosary Relay. And of course they were absolutely thrilled. But what we did not know at the time was they were actually spiritually passing it on to the Vatican. So what a gift of grace to them. So what happens basically when it is passed on to the Vatican, the first thing is that there is a person appointed who will explain what the Rosary Relay just is a little bit about, quite short, and then they will pray the Apostolic Blessing, which Pope Francis has imparted to the Global Rosary Relay for priests. They then pray their the allocated mysteries of the Rosary, and then they, as they're coming to the end, they announce the date for next year, which is the 23rd of June 2017, and they then do something very special. They pray a very, very beautiful prayer, which His Holiness Benedict XVI personally wrote for the Global Rosary Relay, as that connecting link of one country passing on to the other. That connecting point is this beautiful prayer by His Holiness Benedict XVI, and that was just such a beautiful gift, and that is on the website in a number of languages, both in print format, downloadable. Everything is downloadable on the website. The World Priest Apostolate has been greatly blessed in having received 3 apostolic blessings from St. John Paul, from His Holiness Benedict XVI, and from our dear, much loved Pope Francis. No matter where you are in the world, just please join and pray at a time of your choosing. The list of shrines are all there on the website. Choose your location and join in prayer. It does not matter where you are. If you cannot make it to the local shrine, just pray exactly where you are, with your children, with your family. In fact, there's one really lovely thought that came from this very lovely lady in the United States, and she was getting a little bit confused in terms of this was so big, and did you have to go to the bishop and get permission? And I said, well, that's for the major shrines. So she was listening to this, and she said, I really want to do something, she said, but I'm old and elderly, and what can I do? So she went and she thought about it, and she came up, I think, with just a truly magnificent idea, is that they have perpetual adoration in their church. And what she has done, she's printed out all the list of countries, and she has cut them all by strips, put them into envelopes, and they're going to be given to every person in that church right throughout the whole perpetual adoration. So whatever envelope that person gets, that's the shrine that they will pray the rosary with. And I just thought, what a beautiful idea. Because it's like pray on the go. Literally pray on the go. No matter where you are, you can join and you can pray. Which literally, it opens it up to people of no faiths. We can all join in. And that's just the beauty of it. There's nobody monitoring anybody. We're just inviting the entire world to come and join in prayer, in thanksgiving to Our Lady for her most beloved priests.